back to Handy Andy. Today's episode, I'm probably going to have a ton of different footage today. Saturdays are the main day I can record. But the main task, jump in this pool pump and replace the booster pump. This is the housing that houses my main pool pump and my booster pump. The booster pump is what's used to run the Chaotic robot. Yeah, it runs off of Chaos. It's not programmed. So I'm going to get going. I'm actually going to bring the old one and the new pump out so I can show you, and then we'll start recording. So, on the left we have our old motor. This bad boy is probably over 20 years old. Well, close enough. It's 2001 it was manufactured. July. The one on the right is the new one. And it's the same horsepower. It's supposed to use 40% less power, but look at the turbine on the, or the impeller on the right hand side. That's huge, and the outlet and inlet are massive also. You can tell. Look at the size of this. But the hole in here is about what I say what was in here. And the biggest problem I have is that they have this elbow here that's kind of like permanently in here. I want to get rid of that and do something better. They gave me a whole bag of adapters, so I'm going to work on that. First thing I got to do is move over the electrical conduit piece over to here, and the other thing is I need to check to see if my wiring was originally 110 or 220. I was just thinking, how do I do that? It's pretty easy. Right here on this diagram I have low voltage and high voltage. In other words, 120, 240, and then on here this has already been pre-wired, as it says here, to 230. So I'm just going to see what that was wired for and wire this one up for that same thing. So I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, let's get going. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to zoom in for you guys so you can see how I figured this out. If you don't know what you're doing, electricity is extremely dangerous. Play with electricity a lot. I do a lot of my own electrical work, so I know what I'm doing. If you don't know what you're doing, seek a professional's help. Alright? So I'm going to show you this right now. So if you look down here on this chart, you can see the two different low voltage and high voltage. This is for normal house wiring, which is 110, 120, and this is for 220, 230. If you look here, there's this terminal 5 that can either have orange white or orange brown. So what I did is I turned the pump around right where the electrical is, and I looked at it, and inside here, so if we go and look inside here, it's kind of hard to see, but the letter number 5 is in here where we see orange and white. So I know my electricity is wired up for 220. So the next thing I'm gonna have to do with this is I want to knock this off, put it onto that one over here, put it into this hole, and then get this one to go into the hole. Now one thing to show you guys is back in here is it has to go in this spot right here. You see that pipe that comes up and over? It has a threaded end. It really has, I have no way of taking this off safely before without taking this whole piece apart just to unwind this. So what I'm going to plan to do is back in there I'm going to put a quick release system, and that will help me take it apart later in case it breaks. I'm going to put you back a little further again. Alright, so I got the new adapters on here. They're going to go here. You saw me earlier bring up the other one. I wanted to make sure it was the same size. I'm just going to get a hose clamp and put a hose clamp around it. This one though, I'm going to have to get a reducer. They gave me this adapter here, which looks like it's a 2-inch, and the line looks like regular 3/4 inch sprinkler tubing. So I'm gonna have to get this down to a 3/4 inch. So I'm gonna take this piece with me into the hardware store, and I'm gonna measure this with a tape measure and make sure I get the right size hose clamp. And then I'll be back. I'm gonna drop this in there, wire it up, plumb it up, and see what happens. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. By the way, this is a cold sweat towel. As I'm bald, I sweat a lot, and I actually overheat. This is a really cool thing. I got them at Home Depot. The front's almost dry, the sides are still wet. I could just take it off and whip it, and it's instantly cold again. And it helps also absorb the sweat. Just wanted to show you guys that for them big boys out there that sweat a lot. This is great for working outside. All right, talk to you guys in a bit. So, I was being stupid. The old pump didn't have this collet that came off. So I don't need a pressure fitting on the inside. So I went to the store, I got all the parts. So I got a reducer for here. So we'll put that reducer. Then I'll put the pipe extending from it. And then, so that will come here. And I got a bunch of elbows and then a couple of unions just in case. And a pipe clamp for the soft hose. So I'm gonna get in and I'll move the camera over and we'll start filming down there. Actually, what I'm gonna do is get an umbrella. It's getting kind of warm. So I just test ran the pump. It's working okay. The wiring's good then. I'll close it up in a second. This is the new piping arrangement I made. Looks kind of the same, but I'm not using a union. I'm coming out a little further up and over to give this room. So now what I'm going to do is a little trick I did when I take these things apart is put a nice long marker line. So I know where to align these bad boys up. Offsetting this one so I don't mix it up with this other one here. 1, 2, 2. I'll do the same down here. I'll put a 3 here and the line up marker. And then on this one I won't do anything, but here at this union point I sure as heck will. So this is gonna be, actually no, and then I need to do it. So this is 4, and I'll do 5 over here. You can see all the numbers here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to prime all of them and then put the glue. The primer is this purple stuff. I use this brand, and it's good old purple. The problem I always have with the solvent, because this is PVC, this will actually melt the PVC and then harden it back up. It always glues to itself, so having a pair of channel locks close by is really helpful for breaking that dang seal like that. So I had to run to the garage and get it. Alright, here we go. And with the magic of editing and fast forward, I'll see you on the other side. So there, I had to stand up, my knees were locking up on me, but it's all glued together. I'm gonna let it set. This is hand tight. It's all back together. I'll fire it up and see how it works.